Uh, um, yeah, that's definitely that was probably may have been my fault, so I apologize for that.
No, no, no. It's. I literally just moved to LA, and I'm surrounded by boxes, and I'm actually in my living room right now because it was the only place I could find to do this.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on this live just to sort of, let everyone know what it's like being in the media industry. So, we'll get started. I'm Jennifer Price, founder and CEO of Disability Media Network, where all of our content is exclusively featuring people with disabilities. And I'm here with Sarah Granger, who is in the media and entertainment industry, who was uh, kind enough to agree to come on to just talk about what it's like being in the industry and give some just her opinions on representation in general, where Hollywood is or is not, and all the things in between. So certainly, if anyone has any questions, feel free to jump to ask them in the chat. I will ask them for you. But we'll just jump right in. I'll give a visual description. I'm a Black woman. I have curly hair today that with a colorful striped shirt. Half of the stripes are going vertically, half are going horizontally, sort of blue and pink and white. And then the vertical stripes are green, white, and pink. Um, I and I'll pass it over to you, Sarah. If you could also give a brief bio as well.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Sarah Granger. I'm a white woman with long curly auburn hair, and a dark shirt. And yeah, what do you want to hear a little bit like a professional bio too, or what
Yeah,
kind
if you could just tell us a little bit about what you do, where you are in the. Oh, actually, and here is Maya. I'm going to bring Maya in.
Oh,
Hi,
great.
Maya. How are
Oh,
you?
wow. Sorry, I'm running late. I was trying to get my Facebook connected and then look at my background and you can see all my kitchen. And I was like, oh, goodness. So sorry. Wow.
I'm
No.
surrounded by boxes, so
Okay.
Well, I'm glad that you could join us, even if you're late. It's all good. So glad you could be here. So
Thank
we
you.
just got started actually with visual descriptions. I gave a description. Sarah gave hers. I'll let you give a description, and then I was going to open it up by the two of you giving a bio as to what you do in the industry, and then also if you could just go ahead and tell us what made you want to even get in the industry.
Okay. Hello, I'm Maya Table. I have brown skin, pink braids in my hair, and I'm wearing an orange sweater.
Nice. Nice. So why don't you give us a brief bio of who you are, like what sort of content you've produced, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
Okay. So Maya Table, I went to school at Georgia State University, went for film. Right now, I'm currently a director. I used to direct, edit, produce, all that good stuff. My main areas of concentration these days is everything, actually. Music videos, commercials, TV, film, because you really can do all the things. It just takes a lot of effort and intention. So, like a few days ago, I did a piece for Usher and Coke Studio. And then I did a commercial for a Hyundai a few weeks ago. Then I did a video for Cardi B and Wiz Khalifa. And then I did a television show that's a pilot for Netflix now. So you really can do all the things. So that's why I'm always trying to be vocal to people that you can do anything you want to do as long as you are just really focused.
Nice. And it sounds like then this is your full-time gig.
Yeah, it can be full time, and I base my jobs around like hanging out with my family because family for me is always first. So it's always just like, what projects do I want to take, and what that helps you find. It helps me find like the balance in my life because most of my work looks like my family. It looks like people of color, or it looks like people that are other. And so it's important that I represent them. And I find that when I'm not around them as much, I'm like, that is really where my sauce comes from, and that inspiration. So it just, you kind of find the things that make you function at a certain level. So mine is time with family and then quiet time just to daydream. And those two put together are really important for me.
I like that.
Mhm.
Sarah, how about you? Oh, I think Sarah, did we lose you? I think Sarah's frozen for me. Maya, is she frozen for you?
Yes. Yeah, she's frozen for me too.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to. Yeah. Yes. So there are a lot of things that you said that you love, Sarah. I hope if you can hear us, you're frozen for us. So I'm not sure if maybe you should log out and log back in, but we'll bring you back in as soon as you can. So I love the fact that you love daydreaming and that you're very intentional about including family and all the projects. So, one, what is it like doing all of the different types of projects, whether it's a commercial for Hyundai or a music video for Usher? That is my first question. In terms of sort of going back and forth, does it feel like you're doing a lot sometimes? And then two, where does some of your creativity come in the daydreams?
Mhm. Yeah, and so been able to do a few industries at one time. So I'm usually never working on one project at a time.
Okay.
It's usually
Oh,
yeah, it's usually I'm concentrating on this one music video, and then the very next week I'll flip to okay, I'm on a commercial then. So I usually never like shoot them in the same week because it helps. But in film, especially in film school, and you didn't have to go to school for film. Hey, Sarah.
I don't know what happened. We
we
have
lost
a
you, but glad
temporary
you're back.
network, so
It's all good.
Yeah.
All good. Do you want me to finish, or we can hop to Sarah's question?
no, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so you usually aren't doing all of them at the same time. Like all industries, like right now, commercial industries are a bit slower. And then music videos kind of pick up a certain time. So they all actually have a different pace. TV films at a different time. So it's
Oh,
usually those downbeats that one is up and one is down. So it's really kind of knowing when those beats are, but it really is like intention. Like music videos is more about vibe. So it's being in tune with your inner self and what feels good and being able to articulate what feels good. Sometimes it's hard to articulate, like, well, trust me, it's cool, So it's just like you can't say that. So just finding words and pictures to interpret that in a way. And then artists also need to feel like you are a cool person or you are like that thing that you're portraying. So for them, that's important. In the commercial landscape, it's more important for you to know technically exactly. Like if I say like what type of lens, what type of device, am I using a drone or a crane, or am I using a crane car? So the gear is really important, and the story too. And commercials is a bit more fast, is really fast paced, and you're having to lead a bit more. And then in TV, it's more about story, your background, what your eye brings to it. So you really can do other things. It's just being intentional and just knowing that you have to look at every single one differently and not approach them all the same way. And in the daydreaming was something that my therapist actually told me about a while ago. And she was like, I know it's when you don't have a lot of quiet time, you kind of get overwhelmed. So she's like, I'm saying that's something that you need. So you just have to incorporate it in your day to day and not feel bad about it. And I was like, you're right, actually. If that's what my recharge is, and that's what my recharge is. So my producers know that, and different people. I'm like, I'm actually not taking a lot of time. I'm not procrastinating. I just know my thought process because as an editor, I still edit a good half of my projects. But if I don't see the project the full way through, like mentally, then I'm not able to articulate to my crew members or to my team exactly why I need a certain shot, why I do or don't. And also, I talk very softly. This is my tone on set too. So with that, I'm usually more just very exact with stuff. So it's just like, no, I definitely want that blue color and this Pantone, and then you can still like find ways to be yourself because I've thought it out, I've daydreamed it out, and I know exactly, what that is.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So keep daydreaming for sure.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, yes. So, why don't you tell us a bit about your background and what got you into producing films?
Yeah, so I started, I think, well, I was one of those, theater kids, so it definitely started really young. And then when I went to college, I took a creative writing course and discovered a knack for dialogue. So I decided to try playwriting. And then I ended up directing and producing my own play, which was very, one of those dive in learning experiences, and I highly recommend just doing the thing, and I think especially for any kind of creative endeavor, you have to just take that leap at some point. And, I learned so many lessons on that from the marketing perspective, from the technical perspective, from, working with actors, as a writer, everything. So then I struggled because I took all these playwriting and screenwriting courses. I went to the University of Michigan, and then I wanted to come out to California, but I was way too scared to go straight into the entertainment industry. It was just too intimidating to me, all of the rejections and everything. I was a techie, so I went into tech for many years first. We can talk. You can ask me anything you want about the disability aspect. I'm an open book. I've had multiple injuries and different types of nerve damage, and we think there's a connective tissue thing, that's behind some of it. We're still working on figuring that out, but it would be incorrect for me to say that the disability didn't alter the trajectory of my career, because I gravitated to being more entrepreneurial and writing more, because those were things that I could do more easily with the disabilities that I had. And so even though I was always sort of loved both tech in that world and the creative world, I gravitated to the creative, I think, sooner than maybe I would have otherwise, because there's just more flexibility built in to what you do. And so I started blogging a lot. I wrote articles for many years. Then I wrote a book, and then I came back to screenwriting in 2017 and started doing a little bit of producing in 2019 for a friend's project that I really believed in. And so I still do both writing and producing, mostly for films. Been doing a little bit of videos, occasional advertisement type things, working on some pilots. So we'll see where that goes. I just moved to LA, literally. That's why there are boxes around me. So that's gonna change some things. But there are so many different vehicles, and I'm still sort of navigating the landscape in the entertainment industry, because I spent so much time in more of the digital media and media side of things. So there's the grant part of that world, and the independent films, and then there are the production companies and their studio system. And so certainly a very different, networks and streamers, and it's all, everything. I think the one benefit of having a background in tech is that I can kind of see where these mergers and where the evolution of the industry is going, now that there's so much change. So that's helpful.
Well, I'm gonna just. Oh, sorry. I just want to catch that word. Excuse me. While I have it out there in terms of evolution and transition, because on the one hand, I do hear a lot about disability inclusion in Hollywood, and CBS is promising millions of dollars towards training disabled actors who are interested in pursuing different casting roles and hiring behind the scenes. Netflix has promised millions of dollars, and you hear all of this, and we've heard this for maybe a few years ago. I recently then read that there are many people disabled actors in the industry who felt like so far nothing has come into fruition, and nothing has changed. So I have similar, two different questions from different perspectives. Maya, for you, I would ask, are you hearing from people, or especially like companies like the Hondas, or singers like Cardi B or Usher, or whomever you're doing music video for, anything about making sure that this person is included, or disabled people are included, or does that? And if not, is it top of mind for you? I'm just wondering where that conversation lies, what you're personally seeing in working with those companies.
Yeah. It's top of mind for me. It's usually not top of mind for others. It's usually agencies that we work with that bring the projects together, but it's not top of mind. So I always I'm in a number of groups like as an ally and an advocate, just because like there are so many people throughout my career that did the same for me, and then also as a director, it's important for me to like accurately document the world, and I can't do that if I'm not like hearing everything and a part of all the groups. So it's usually me taking it upon myself to advocate for others to bring them on productions.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sarah, what about you in terms of what's coming out of Hollywood and or what people are saying in Hollywood? I mean, do you hear it sort of coming down, or whatever the headlines are? Is that also something that's within private conversations when it comes to hiring?
What I'm hearing is that there is a lot of talk out there, people performative inclusion, but not necessarily actually behind the scenes. And I think that one of the big campaigns that's been going on that I don't know if it's what's changed from the campaign or not, but just as far as awareness goes, is the don't just hire disability consultants, actually hire disabled creatives.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think that one is really starting to take hold, and I hope it helps. But we're in such a strange flux right now with everything. It feels like so much is on hold. I'm kind of waiting to see how it comes out on the other side, but I'm not feeling, unfortunately, particularly optimistic. Like I'm very optimistic about the advocacy that's going on. I'm excited about the people and the organizations that are involved and are doing great work. But it's been so hard for all of the underrepresented groups to get the needle moving, and disability seems to be the least represented, for the bigger, groups, that it's definitely disheartening. You still see that it's less than 2% of whatever on visual representation, and I can only assume it's still a lot worse behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah, for you as someone who identifies as having disabilities and you're a producer, what is it like on set advocating for different accommodations or accessibility aspects and features?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the project. I haven't been a lead producer yet, so I usually defer to those people in the leadership, but I definitely advocate for. I don't. I'll step back and say that first off, I don't sign on to projects in the first place unless they have really inclusive teams.
Mhm.
So, it starts with the writer, director, lead producer, and whoever they're bringing on as their DP, or, whatever their lead team is. When I see that as being inclusive, equitable, really smart, considerate people, that's what I sign on to as a producer myself, whether I'm executive producer or associate producer, which are the two roles I've played so far. But it definitely, I'll ask a lot of questions though to make sure that they're aware. And then when I work with directors who maybe are not fully involved, I'll suggest, hey, there's this program or this grant you can apply for, things like that, to help them expand their options.
Yeah. Maya, do you have any advice or any suggestions for people that are interested in getting into the industry where they can get started?
Yeah, and as you all were talking, I had a great thought, and this is sometimes what I do with, especially like women creatives, especially women cinematographers, because these days, like it took so long for me to get the opportunities that I got, but I'm like, okay, now that I'm here, let's go ahead and you. So like, I have a few cinematographers that I'll bring on to set. And they'll do okay, but still it's like them being on set gets them that experience. So now I can say, now that you have this experience, this is why this is important. because you don't know what you haven't experienced. So I need them to experience it. So now we can talk more about it and they can grow into it. And I think it would be cool. Like, are there any programs like that where it's just directors like myself or producers talking and saying, hey, let me see what you have, and then this is how you present it in a way to other directors and producers? Because I always find that some amazing creative people, but I'm like, oh, you just need to change your website to this, or you need to present this way. Because that used to happen to me. I'm like, why are things not registering? Why aren't people seeing the talent? And I'm like, oh, I'm presenting it in a different way, or I'm not saying ABC. So I think it's more, I feel like it's more of an unknown for the disability community, because people just kind of, like, if you aren't me, people just are scared to try anything. People are scared to try a Black girl directing, so they for sure are scared, you know. So it's like, don't, nothing to be scared about. This is just the adjustments you need to make. So I feel like that's like the biggest hump, actually.
Yeah. So
But doing is like, because it's the same for just all. It's easy for people to want to do it, but then the actual doing part, it takes so many departments to be together.
yeah. So I wonder, when you said that people are scared to even try, you know, and when it comes to Black directors, and now certainly when it comes to disabled directors, I wonder if that is, I wonder what the ultimate reason, right? But like, I have a lot of things and thoughts and assumptions as to why I think that could be the case.
Yeah.
But do you have any ideas to why? I mean, do people just not want to get it wrong? Are they scared that their ableism may come out? You know, is it sort of, I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm just scared to even attempt, and I don't want to ask any questions because I don't want to offend. I mean, I just wonder what that reason is.
I think
Everyone needs to get a start somewhere, right? We've all been at the bottom at some point.
Right. I think it's all those put together. Like, I think it's every single one of them. And it just takes, you know, a few brave people to just, you know, keep doing it, and showing that this is the way that you bring on people that are other abled. But I think it's all those put together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think also budget. I think people make the assumption, which is often incorrect, that it's going to cost them a lot more money to have disabled people involved, and that's not usually the case. I mean, it totally depends, and if it is, then they should have built that into their budget to begin with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had a discussion beforehand about the Coda effect, meaning the movie Coda won so many awards and received so many nominations that maybe something will come out of that positively from Hollywood, in terms of recognizing that, yes, disabled people should be hired for films, and people will watch the films, right? They are money makers. Don't be scared, right, to invest in the films. Do you think that there is a Coda effect, that there is, or any sort of change happening, and has Coda or any other film had anything to do with that? I'll start with Sarah.
I think there was. I don't know if it's still coasting along, but I definitely think that there was an increase in interest and visibility for disabled stories due to Coda. And there was certainly a lot of people, like, I was talking to producers for a script that I wrote, who were like, oh, I want, you know, this could be the next Coda. You know, that was the word du jour, right?
Right.
So, you know, we'll see. But I think we need to keep them going. We need the next one so that we can build that momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I haven't heard anything, but I think it's just, you know, I think people just kind of are excited in the moment, but the kind of doing part. But yeah, I haven't heard too much either. But I'm here, you know.
Yeah. Well, and we appreciate both of you for what it is that you're doing, the intentionality that you have behind the work that you're creating, and certainly appreciate the two of you coming on and jumping on this live Q&A. I look forward to seeing everyone in the next one, whenever that will be. Certainly feel free to go and watch content online. But thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you too.